What if I told you that the difference between chaos and clarity is just one sentence, one thought, one question, not a new planner, not more time, not anything, but one thought. Welcome to day 3 of the 30-day lifestyle challenge. I am Aklin and I help moms and women to be able to build their empires, to build their businesses with leveled heads without suffering. Today we are talking about the life hack that shifted me from chaos to clarity. It shifts you from chaos to clarity in under 10 seconds. Because sis, I was waking up tired, exhausted, and sometimes I would get in situations and I feel stuck and I just run to my bed and sleep, causing more chaos. Now, my friends, this hack is real. This hack only takes 10 seconds. So you don't miss this. If you're juggling babies, home, housework, business, you need this hack because it just puts you in a position to know exactly what you want. It helps you to calm down and get back to your mind, to steer your mind. It helps you to take charge of your mind. This hack brings you from the chaos that you're in and gives you the steering. It gives you the steering to get back in control of your mind. I was always overwhelmed, confused, and wondering how people do all these things. Sometimes I would wake up and look at the things around me, just pass around, prepare the kids to go to school, and I go back to sleep because I would feel overwhelmed. I would feel stuck. So I started questioning myself. I started asking myself some questions. And there is this one question that shifted everything for me. First time I asked that question by mistake. Then I decided to use it another time and it kept working. It kept shifting me from where I was stuck to something new, to something great. Then I decided to challenge myself to keep using that question whenever I felt chaotic, whenever I felt stuck. And you know what? It helped me every time I did it. And today I want to share with you exactly that same question, that same hack that helps me, so that it will be able to help you, my friend, to be able to shift from chaos to clarity. When you are a stay-at-home mom and a social entrepreneur trying to put up a business, juggling through toddlers, lunch, breakfast, and business, it is very chaotic. Now, being able to get clarity in that situation, you need to have some of these hacks that work. So this hack doesn't need you to do more. It doesn't blame you. It doesn't ask you to work more, to do something more, to be better. It just shifts your clarity, your chaos in just under 10 seconds, and you see what you should see, what you are supposed to see, and make a decision. You see, for us stay-at-home moms, most of the times we have no cut time to say this is time for work, this is time for business, this is time for home, this is time for children. We do everything together, and we have to, there's a very thin line between business and home, between business and children, business and lunch, between business and breakfast. So being able to differentiate and look at that line and be able to appreciate what you can do within that time, it is very hard and chaotic. So my friends, I got a hack that helped me, and I believe it is going to help you. When you're home in that chaos, you always think about these questions that blur your mind. There is too much to do. I don't know where to start. Things are chaotic, and in that situation, your brain shrinks and it goes in a panic mode. you're trying to survive. You get into a survival mode. And when you get into a survival mode, your prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of decision making, shrinks and stops working. Because you're in a panic, you're in a survival mode. Now you start working or doing things emotionally. You react emotionally, you become reactive, and you start rushing through them. Some of them you don't do them, you start blaming yourself. So in that situation, that is where the hack comes in. The hack is just a question that sets you up for a different kind of situation. That hack, I always ask myself, what does a peaceful me choose to do first? That is the question. That is the miracle. What would a peaceful me choose to do first? And do you know what, my friends? It works. I did that the first time I asked that question. It was out of frustration. It was a mistake, like out of chance. I remember one time I was trying to make breakfast for my evening tea for my children. Remember, I have been chaotic throughout the morning. I had no plan. I never planned. I had no morning routine. So I would wake up and stay with one child at home, and the other two children go to school. So within my chaos, I would not plan. I waited for my children to come in the afternoon, and I had a client. I used to do natural hair from my home. So I would have the time for my children to go to school, and then sometimes I do hair. But this client had made an appointment for 5:30. My children would come around 5. So at 5:30, I knew by 5:30 I would have made tea for them, and then start hair at 5:30. That rush. And then I used to do the twisting of natural hair for like 30 minutes. Then in the 30 minutes, I'll be done with that hair and do a short meal for my children for supper. So that is how I would plan in my head and get confused. So when I was making tea for my children, it poured. Remember, you're trying to do several things within the shortest time possible. I am making tea, and the children are waiting in the sitting room, and I'm trying to put snacks on the table for them, so that when the tea is ready, I pour it in, I give them snacks at the same time, and I go to plait the hair because I had made an appointment. So when I was putting snacks there, I checked, and where I cooked tea from is like a slanting area. So when tea pours, it goes out. So tea poured and it came through. By the time I turned to go and check on that, it was meeting me and going outside. The good thing is it goes through the kitchen side and not the sitting room that side. So the children were in the sitting room. When I looked at the tea pouring, before I could even think, I had that knock on the gate. And because I told these people when they come in, when they would come, they would knock at the gate and I would not hear. So I told them, you can call. So before I even think, I see my phone also ringing because she was calling from the gate saying, I am here, madam. Tea has poured. I've not yet prepared the meal for the children, and now the lady is already here. Things become too many. And now the confusion comes in. I start rushing, I start reacting, and I'm like, maybe I tell this lady to go away because I'm in a messy situation. I know if I don't give these children tea, they will start disorganizing me while I'm outside. I needed that time outside where the children are also busy inside. I got confused. Now my mind was telling me, first leave the lady at the gate and first clean here. First, those decisions that were so confusing. And I felt, it is the first time I asked myself, what would a peaceful me do? Because there was no peace, there was no clarity. I was just getting confused and agitated. So I said, my children love water. They love to drink water. So the peaceful me told me it is one day of water and snack. Just give them some water, let them take the snack, go and open for the lady. I went and opened for the lady. She came in, I plaited her hair, I locked the door from the kitchen so no one was going there. They took their snack, they drank their water. Within 30 minutes, I was done with my plating and calmly came back and cleared the kitchen and did the last meal, the next meal. But I had even thought of telling this lady to go away. I had even thought of maybe I first go and get milk. I tell this lady to sit and wait. In that confusion, the decisions I was making were not making sense. But when I questioned myself, what would a peaceful me do? The milk in the kitchen cannot kill you. Let it be there. First finish what is important. When you're done with it, you will deal with the rest later. And that's what I did peacefully, and nothing hindered my actions. So sometimes you need to distance yourself from the chaos and be able to think like a calm person. Distance yourself, don't react. Ask, who am I becoming? Not what do I do? Because in that situation, if you're feeling confused, you will get a wrong decision. So distance yourself with that simple question. If I was peaceful, what would I do first? What would I choose to do first? And you know what it does? It activates your prefrontal cortex, which was in panic mode, which had closed down. It is activated and you start thinking logically. You start thinking for long term. When that part of the brain is not working, you think emotionally, you think short-term decisions, you make short-term decisions that sometimes are very dangerous and they are not helpful most of the times. So when you ask that question, it reactivates your prefrontal cortex and you start thinking logically, you start thinking for long term, you start to regulate your emotions, You are literally stepping out of the chaos and getting into that calm position neurologically. This is called self-distancing, and it is a method that is used in therapy and counseling. It helps the patients to be able to increase insight or to become non-reactive in such situations, and also help them to shift identity in real time. So this question creates a psychological distance, which is proven in psychology. It creates a psychological distance between chaos and clarity. It distances you from the chaos you are in to the clarity you're seeking. So it lets you observe yourself from a distance and you start reacting without emotions. It lets you observe yourself instead of being stuck in the mess. It anchors you in identity, not reaction. You don't react, you just first get your identity, accept where you are, and then shift to a different identity to be able to understand what is happening. The question flips your focus from what do I do to who am I becoming, which is very powerful. So those are called reflective questions. You can have your own reflective question. Which reflective question can you ask yourself when you get into panic and you be able to answer it? That question that sets you up. But this question, that particular question, is the one I'm giving you because it's the one that has helped me. What would a peaceful me choose to do first? It anchors you in identity, not reaction. You start asking the right question. Instead of saying, what do I do? You start asking, who am I becoming right now? And because, of course, you don't want to relate to something negative, you will start to relate to something positive. You will relate to someone who is calm and be able to identify yourself within there and act like a calm person. Answer the questions like a calm person. find a solution like a calm person, and think logically. So this hack is very simple enough to remember. It is one line, you don't have to remember too much. It is just something that puts you back in the driver's seat of your mind. You get back to controlling yourself, you get back to controlling the situation instead of the situation controlling you and putting you in a position where you don't want to be. So try this thing tomorrow. Anytime when you wake up in the morning, before you get any confusion, before you get into any chaos, ask yourself in the morning, what would a peaceful me do? Do I get on my phone and start scrolling? Do I pray and anchor myself for the day? Do I take breath? Do I read something and learn? Do I do anything that calms my nerves down? And so if you learn what peaceful you would do, then do that. Then if anything happens and takes you out of your normal state and you start getting confused, you start getting chaotic, self-distance. What would a peaceful you do? That, my friends, helped me to get myself together, to be able to answer questions calmly when I'm in a chaotic situation. And I believe it can help you too. So try it tomorrow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and be part of this challenge and follow through. So thank you so much for listening to me. This is day 3, and tomorrow we are doing planning. How I plan my day within 10 minutes or even less. So we are trying to make sure we use our time profitably. Even planning, even those routines, we need to fix them in a short time. So I usually plan my day in 10 minutes, and tomorrow I'm going to break down how I do that for you in 10 minutes. So be sure to be here, ring the bell, share, subscribe to my channel, and I'll be here tomorrow. So see you in the next one tomorrow.